Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another INART 1/6 scale figure prototype review. Today we're taking an early look at the pre-production version of Cyberdyne Systems Model 101, the T-800, based off its appearance in the first Terminator film. Now before we get stuck in, I want to say a massive thank you to Matthew, Ivan, Johnny, the team over at INART, the incredibly talented artists behind this piece, for trusting me with their baby. The only one in the world right now. It's on loan to me. It's going back to them after this video is done. Now, if you're looking to pre-order your very own copy of this T-800 2-pack, I've popped an affiliate link to INART's website direct in the description. This is licensed worldwide. You can buy straight from them. But if you'd prefer to go with a retailer, I've popped a link to Pop Collectibles in the description as well, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you decide to buy from them. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. If you're heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button so you're notified as soon as brand new INART prototype reviews go live. Seeing as though this is a prototype, there's no box art to look at, we can skip right over the unboxing, jump straight into accessories, starting off with the display base first. Now, I've seen the comments online, surely INART have as well. At this very moment, they've just confirmed officially that this is going to be a 2-pack. That, for some reason, doesn't automatically mean 2 display bases though. This set is still coming with 1 base. I've passed on my feedback to the higher-ups over at INART. I think we should get a second base, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. At least this one looks good. It's simple, it's classy, but it's effective. There's this sculpted concrete texture up on top, very fine sculpt work. There's some weathering, some airbrush shading. I wouldn't mind some road markings. It would be pretty simple for them to add that. Fingers crossed they do. Around the front, the Terminator on an etched nameplate. Then a height-adjustable crotch grabber, done in INART's usual style. Metal pole, knurled knob, you can loosen the knob, height adjust the crotch grabber, rotate it round, turn the knob, lock it in place. The switch out bandaged up forearm is such a scene specific but very neat accessory, and not something we got with the Hot Toys version back in the day. They went sculpted for the bandages, and I think that was the right call because it allows them to get this shading over the top, the very sharp gauze texture, the frayed edges. Then they painted the blood over it. It genuinely looks like that blood, that dark spot right there, is seeping through from underneath the fabric bandages. Let's talk about weapons. This is the Terminator, after all. 45 long slide, he does a lot of damage with this pistol in the movie. Sculpted inscriptions on the side of it, this dirty, grimy wash over the top, working hammer, and the magazine will be removable for the final release version, but this being the prototype, I just can't seem to get it out there, and I do not want to break this. It's the fidelity of the sculpt work, like all of the writing on the surface of the guns with the serial numbers and the branding and whatnot, on the handle there for the revolver. There's multiple washes to make it look like wood, and you can rotate the middle section, plus it opens up. It's crazy to me that the closer you get to these things, the better they look. These tiny rivets, the texture on the grips, they look like they're made of rubber. You can actuate this piece, the knurling up front, then the paint applications, gunmetal with this flake to it, black washes, and a very fine level of silver pitting just on the matte black section around the back here. I am by no means a gun expert, but thank goodness for INART's attention to detail with the sculpt work. It clearly says Armorlight AR-18 on the side of the gun with a bunch of other stuff. Even the fire selection switch, you can see fire and safe right there. Removable magazines, sculpted and painted bullet detail, sculpted duct tape connecting the magazines together, and we get a spare set. Once again, all of the sculpt work, even up front, that very thin bit for the top part of the barrel, all of this stuff below the iron sights, the charging handle, all of this stuff is static for the prototype. I would imagine that some of it will be able to move with the final production piece. Not really an accessory, more so just part of his look, the iconic Terminator 1 glasses. Gloss black plastic, a little bit translucent. Not enough to see straight through them, but maybe under harsh lighting, you might be able to do that. Then, a full array of hands, including some specialty ones which we'll get back to. the leather grain, the wrinkling, the dots, the stitching. Look at these gloves. They come across as though they're shrunk down real leather gloves, and compared to the Hot Toys versions, night and day difference. There is no leather grain at all with the Hot Toys gloves. Trigger finger hands and the pinky sticking out? Oh, INART, y'all are spoiling us with the attention to detail. They're soft enough, I don't think you should have to heat them up to pop the weapons in there. 2 closed fists, 2 battle-damaged ones with this gross, bloody, glossy-looking flesh visible through the cutouts. Fingers curled in as though the T-800 is just crawling along the ground, pulling himself towards Sarah and Kyle Reese. Then only for the left, a shotgun/AR-18 under-barrel holding hand. Then these are just beautiful. The specialty ones I was talking about, fingerless gloves. He does wear fingerless gloves in the movie, but not with the black jacket, except for in the poster. So these are meant to solely replicate the look of the poster, a deep cut, but I'm here for it. The skin texture, the vein work, the wrinkling, the sculpted nails, the painted cuticles. Then we've got the glossy but leather grain textured gloves. I'm not sure if I'm going to use these, but I am glad they're included. What we're going to do now is get the T-800 itself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that for now. We'll do all of that stuff later, have some real fun with this guy, doing some sick poses, bust out the dynamic moving camera. I promise you it will be worth your while to stay tuned to the end of the video. But holy shit, INART, this thing is a masterpiece. And there's 2 of them. The battle damaged one and the clean one. I would have not been able to pick between the 2 looks, and the best part about this set is you don't have to now. You get both figures in the one box. Clean T-800, well, ish, because his eye is still battle damaged underneath the glasses, and an all-out battle damage one. The real leather jackets, they're stunning. The tailoring all round is perfect. Fits the body to a T, and the proportions are so good. Then we get to the head sculpts. I just can't pick which is my favorite of the 2. At this very moment, I am blown away with what INART have made here. Up close and personal, how this is going to work is we'll look at the cleaner version of T-800 first, then we'll move on to the battle damage one, but this head sculpt is a 10. For me, at least. That is Arnie from every angle. Like, I'm turning it around no matter which way I look at it, I can see Arnold Schwarzenegger. The skin texture, the vein work on his temples right there on either side, the green shading for his 5 o'clock shadow, making it look like there's hair follicles underneath his skin. That wrinkling on his chin, slightly at an angle, it's asymmetrical. Then we've got the furrowed brow look, the creases on his forehead, and the spiky hair. This has to be some of the finest and craziest sculpt work I've ever seen for sculpted hair. Don't forget, at this point in the film, the T-800 had been through some shit. He was chasing Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor. They'd shot at him, blown up a car as he was chasing them. His eyebrows were singed off, his hair was burnt, and that's why it looks all kinds of jagged and spiky. Even around the back, the little bits that stick off the main sculpt work, there's more flow back here because this hair was nowhere near as burnt as the front bits. I do think they could make some subtle improvements. This seam right here, if they brought it up along the back of the ear, cupping the edge of that jawline, then integrated it into the spiky sculpt work for the hair, it would pretty much disappear. You can't see it from most angles, but when you start to turn him, it does get a little bit visible. Just quickly, compared to the Hot Toys sculpt, I still like the Hot Toys one. The jawline doesn't scream Arnie to me as much anymore, and I mean, the one on the left just looks like a real person. I think it's the subtle translucency to the PVC plastic INART have used. There's this real subsurface scattering. It mimics the look of real human skin, the way Hot Toys' thicker PVC just can't. And then we remove the glasses. Now the likeness, I reckon, is even stronger. That is Arnie. Undeniably so. We've got the torn away flesh now, though, and the endo eye. Now it's painted red, so it looks like it's illuminated, even though there's no LED light up effect. However, there is some UV reflective paint on it, so if you shine a UV light at it, then it glows. The reason why they didn't go LED light up, in my opinion, is because they've integrated a moving eye feature for the endo eye. When you see Arnie in the movie, well, it's not really Arnie, it's this animatronic made by Stan Winston Studio, the endo eye is moving. Whereas Hot Toys, even though they've made battle-damaged Arnie sculpts before with moving eyes, the endo one has always been static. So this is what I'm talking about. So the other eye, that can move as normal, but the endo one, how did they do that? All of the sculpted detail around the eyeball itself, and it can still move. That's crazy to me. I've always wanted to be able to move Arnie's eyes to look in the same direction, and with INART's version, now I can. But yeah, the likeness is so strong with this head sculpt. If you've got this on the way, I don't think you have anything to stress about. With some side eye, head tilt forward, it's almost a shame to pop the glasses back on when the sculpt looks this good. That wrinkling there on the inside part underneath the eyebrow and the way the eye is squinted, such a fierce and intense expression. Let's talk about the physique, the body underneath the outfit. Broad shoulders, big biceps, pecs that you can see and feel through the outfit. The neck is appropriately thick, filling out the underside of the head sculpt. He doesn't look pencil-necked. The Hot Toys one does. Almost looks like a bobblehead compared to this you will see when we get to the comparison segment. Then the outfit. Thin, lightweight fabrics for the t-shirt, this textured weave on the surface, and the collar for the genuine leather jacket sits perfectly. It's not even wired, and it does this. The way they've stitched it, it sticks up at the back, but down at the front, exactly the way it's supposed to. And the leather just smells and feels so good, because it is real genuine leather. There's zippers inside these slits where the pockets would be. This one, die-cast, just hangs down the front. Real working zipper, you can do up the jacket if you want to. Real working belt, metal buckle. There's even some sculpt work or some etching on this bit that hangs down on the front of the zipper. And around the back, the leather grain to it, the straps, the strings that hang down. This jacket, thank goodness they made it out of genuine leather, because my Hot Toys one is deteriorating. Yes, it's an older piece, but nobody wants a flaking jacket on a Terminator. It's a core integral part of his iconic look from the end of the movie. And the zippers on the sleeves, they're functional. You can undo them if you want. The sleeves sit just above his knuckles. That looks accurate to me. Then the pants. They're slightly weathered. Ever so slightly. There's some shading on the seams to make them look worn, as though these pants, they are not brand new. Tucked into the top of his boots. Leather grain texture, but a different style of leather grain versus the gloves. It's finer, it's smoother. Then there's wrinkling and stitching, the buckles, all of these bits and pieces that sit over the top, plus some tread on the underside. Now this head sculpt might even be better than the other one. I'm struggling to pick my favorite of the two, but seriously, the likeness to Arnie, that's him. Once again, ignoring the singed off eyebrows, the endoskeleton battle damage on one side. There is a lot of depth to it. It's nice and shiny and metallic, but all of this blood just trickling down from the open wounds, the wrinkling on his lips, that wrinkling right there on the side of his nose, that gash, all of the dirt and grime, the schmutz on the surface. It looks like he's been dragged underneath a truck, because at this point in the film, he had been. Now, in the movie, I'm not sure if you've seen it recently, they never achieved this look fully practically. They had a makeup application for when he was driving the truck, his eye was glowing, but it didn't move. Whenever they needed Arnie to have the endo eye moving, they busted out the animatronic, which didn't even really look like him. So this is INART making something come to life that really never existed practically back in the day. Alright, we've zoomed in even closer now. Look at that flesh. The grossness of it. The torn up ear. I just now noticed that. The vein work, where the hair has been just ripped away out of his scalp. This is another masterpiece of a head sculpt. There's even some bruising underneath that eye right there. Okay, so this isn't fair. The Hot Toys one is quite old, but the blood doesn't look very realistic. It is glossy, that makes it look wet, but it's far too bright. There's depth to the sculpt work for the endo bits. The INART one is just sharper and crisper, and I think the likeness is stronger. The hair looks better, the sculpt is finer there. Plus, there's this real glazed over look to the human eye with the Hot Toys sculpt, the INART one. That just looks like a real person. I don't think this will ever get old, moving the endo eye around. Left, right, up and down, you can move it. Then the human eye, same range of motion as the other sculpt. His eye is a little bit more open with the battle damage sculpt versus the standard one, it's slightly more squinted. Look at that stare! The intensity to it. Tilt the head sculpt forward, he's looking up through his brow. And if you bring in a UV torch pointed at the endo eye, now that is glowing. I don't mind the painted eye because, like I said, it looks good even with the lights turned off, and they've integrated some way of making it look illuminated. Do weigh in down in the comments. Do you like UV light up effects, or would you rather ditch the moving endo eye in favor of a light up one? So the body underneath the outfit is the same as the other one. Proportionate, thick neck, broad shoulders, decent sized biceps. It's the battle damage on the outfit that lets the battle damage underneath it show through. The holes in the shirt, there's two of them. Blood is pooling on his flesh underneath, and it looks wet and glossy and very real. Then we've got bullet holes just dotted around the place, with some blood looking like it's seeping out from underneath the jacket. Like, it's subtle. These scratches with the blood coming out. There's some bullet holes on the sleeves. You'll be able to explore this, see all of this stuff in person when you get him in hand, when he releases, but also up front, a couple more bullet holes. You could technically do up the jacket if you wanted. It's possible. I'm going to leave it open because I want to showcase all of this battle damage, of course. And another bullet hole on that flap right there. Coming down to the pants, they're slightly more weathered than the cleaner look, and we've got a hole with some blood poking through, skin texture on that thigh. So apparently there will be battle damage on the boots, the battle damage look. These, they haven't got any battle damage on them. They probably hadn't finalized the look before they sent this to me. So for the final production piece, expect some battle damage. The leather grain, once again, is a thicker, sturdier, chunkier grain, but we've got stitching and the folds and the wrinkles, these buckles and straps that sit over the top, and some sculpted tread underneath, just like the other pair. For a quick side-by-side comparison, on the left INART, on the right Hot Toys, don't forget we're comparing a prototype to a final mass-produced piece. But the Hot Toys one has been out for many years at this point. The years have not been kind to it, at least not to my copy. The jacket is flaking, the knees are wobbly, the ankles are loose. It's a miracle he is still standing right now, but the INART one is so much better. The proportions, look at the width of the shoulders. He's got that Arnie bodybuilder physique, the thicker neck. His head now looks in proportion to his body, whereas with the Hot Toys one, I always found the head to be a little bit too large and the waist too wide. INART has none of those problems, and they fixed the skin tone. It's lighter, more accurate to Arnie, there's more detail to the paint applications, then the outfit. Genuine leather jacket, you just can't beat that. At the price point that the INART one is coming in at, being a 2-pack, it's a massive W for them. I mean, come on. Cleaner look on the left, still with some battle damage under the glasses though. Then all-out battle damage on the right. Pants are dirtier and grimier. We've got the blood poking through that hole in the trousers. The jacket is completely destroyed with holes all through it. Blood seeping through the bullet holes. The shirt's got holes in it. And the battle damage head sculpt, plus the battle damage hands. I would have had a very tough time picking between both looks if this was a single pack. That's why I'm so glad they decided to chuck in a second body. Poor Hot Toys Tech Noir T-800. Once again, the years have not been kind to these figures. I didn't even realize the ankle joints had completely shattered on my copy until I just now lifted him off his display base and his boot fell off. But the proportions are all over the place. The head sculpt is quite dated, the tailoring is too big and bulky. I reckon INART would kill it with a Tech Noir T-800. That damn tan skin tone, Hot Toys just can't get away from it. T2 on the right, that's their latest version. He's still too tan, in my opinion. INART is showing them how it's done when it comes to natural complexion, accurate skin tones, character-dependent skin tones, whereas Hot Toys, they just go tan for everyone. At least This new INART T-800 is consistent scale-wise with what Hot Toys gave us with their T2 figures. As you can see, scaling looks bang on. They're pretty much the exact same height. Going over articulation, take this with a grain of salt. I would expect a little bit more range, different tolerances when we get to the final production piece. Being the prototype, it's not entirely indicative of what to expect with that final production version. Starting off with the head sculpt, ball joint at the base of the articulated neck, ball joint underneath the head itself, looking almost all the way forwards, brings back a bit, going back to there, swivel, and plenty of pivot side to side. Arms go up at the shoulders, unhindered by the genuine leather jacket, forward and back on soft ratchets, butterfly joints that also hinge up and down. And, I might add, his arms go completely flush down by his sides. Bicep swivel, double bend at the elbow going past 90, then for the wrist peg, it's a ratcheted hinge and swivel. Midsection joint and waist joint crunching all the way forward to there, going back about as far as forward, swivel, and plenty of pivot side to side. Legs will go forward to there, adjusting the pants, pulling them out of the boots to get some more range out of the hip joints, going out to there, swivel at the upper thigh. Then a double bend at the knee. Will it go past 90? Yeah, absolutely. Then lastly, single piece sculpted boots, but they're soft enough to give us a little bit of articulation. Double ball pegs for the ankles, good for forward and back, rotation, as well as some ankle tilt. Wrapping up on INART's T-800 2-pack from Terminator 1, this is how you do an iconic movie justice. Yes, T2 exists, and a lot of people prefer that film, but without the Terminator, there is no Terminator 2. For me personally, I love them both. I need to have T-800 from both movies represented in the collection, and there is no better way to do that than with this INART release. It's near perfect. 2 bodies, battle damaged, cleaner look, great head sculpts, moving endo eyes for the first time in 1/6 scale, UV light up effect, it's not LED, but I'll take it, and the insane amount of detail on the weapons, plus genuine leather jackets. That is a selling point that I don't see anywhere near enough people talking about, because the only other T-800 from the first Terminator movie made by Hot Toys, leather jacket. Mine is flaking, yours is probably flaking, and it was a single pack. You had to choose between the all-out battle damage look or the cleaner one. So at the end of this, I'm counting down the seconds until this officially releases. I need this in my collection stat. It is so good. Huge W for INART. I cannot wait to see what they do with this Terminator license. Now, if you're looking to pre-order this, I've popped a link to INART's website direct in the description. It's an affiliate link, but any commission earned will be reinvested back into the channel, put towards making new content. Worldwide license, you can order directly through them. If you prefer to go through a retailer though, I've also popped a link to Pop Collectibles in the description, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you decide to buy from them. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. If you're heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.